stop and think, why spend too much time just getting ready?
And I wanted to give you a quick update of my reading and my plans for today. Um, so I was supposed to finish this yesterday. Read in Illustrator. I have 49 pages left, and I didn't read anything yesterday. I mean, my day was fine. I had planned reading this after I finished work. I finished work at 9 last night, and I had planned on reading it then. But my night at work was terrible. I ended up leaving work crying because it was literally the worst. Like I've been with, I'm not going to say who the company is because I'm sure that will impress them. But I've been with this company for almost 10 years. I'm like, I think about 4 months off of 10 years, and I've never ever been treated nice in this company, not ever. And I inadvertently found something out last night that affects me that nobody bothered to tell me about. And when I asked, because I have two managers, and I asked one of them, she was like, "Oh, yeah, we'll talk about that next week." I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like, I cannot with this place anymore. Like, I have dedicated so much of my energy and time and effort into this job, and I just get treated like crap basically." So I came home crying last night. I was so upset. I'm still upset. I'm fuming on the inside. I just keep playing things in my head, and I need to stop it because otherwise it'll ruin my weekend. But so when I got home, I just didn't have it in me to read. I just didn't. So I read nothing yesterday. And which really bugs me, it really annoys me that these people can just play with people's lives like we're nothing. Um, it just really irritates me, and then it affects every part of my life because their stupid decisions affect everything that happens in my life because obviously I need a job. And I know people are going to say, "Oh, well, go get another job." Well, that's easier said than done. I'm 31 years old. I work in retail. Um, I'm not exactly the person that retail employers want because I cost too much. They'd rather have someone younger that is cheaper and that they can boss around. And also, I have health issues which stops me from working full time, and that I have a health issue in particular that um, I don't know if I don't even really know what it is. My doctor is trying to figure out how to stop it, but at the moment it's not going well. But I have an issue where my gag reflexes constantly kick in, like all the time, every day, all the time. And so far, the only thing that I have found that stops that from happening is chewing gum. And I can't even just chew any type of gum. I can only chew one particular type of gum. I've tried others and nothing works. And if I don't, I throw up because once my gag reflexes kick in, I can't stop them. And I throw up. So I can't get another job. Who's going to employ somebody like that? Nobody. And so I'm honestly at the point where I'm terrified to leave the house. Like I go through I can, like on a bad day, I can go through up to about 6 containers of gum, and this particular gum that I eat is Mentos. It's the one with the gel stuff in the center. I think there's about 20 pieces per container, and I can go through like 6 of those in a day to try and stop this issue, and I haven't found anything else to stop it. So it's ruining my life essentially. So believe me, if I could leave this company, I would, but at the moment I'm stuck. On a better note, though, today's Valentine's Day. my fiance and I don't actually really celebrate Valentine's Day. We're not really lovey-dovey people. Like, we're just not. We I mean, we sometimes get each other Valentine's Day cards. This year we didn't. We didn't really, to be honest, care. Um, but we just don't celebrate Valentine's Day. I don't think we ever have. I'm just trying to think. No, no, we haven't. So this March the 13th of this year, we'll have been together for 15 years. So it just doesn't, like, Valentine's Day just doesn't seem important to us. Like, I am all for people celebrating it, but it just doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't resonate with us. So we don't really celebrate Valentine's Day, but I like the whole concept of Valentine's Day. Um, so, like, yeah, and I'm one of these people that like to theme everything, and I do theme everything. So like in my bullet journal for February, I didn't do hearts or anything like that because I didn't want hearts, but I did like a pink theme, and I did flowers for Valentine's Day. So I like that concept. So I do like themed things. And I theme, like, I do have a memory planner as well, that I use, like, theme stickers for, like, events and stuff in my memory planner, so I can put my photos and things in there. But let's talk about reading. So this is my February book bingo. I have made a change on there to one of the books, which was for prompt 10, which is a couple on the cover. Surprisingly, I did not have a lot of books with a couple on the cover that fit into the kind of theme I was going for this February, which is kind of romance, obviously. So I had doubled up books. And then I was like, yep, I'm cool with that. But then I was like, no, I really want an actual, like, I want a different book for every single prompt. So I found one on, actually no, it's not a Kindle book. I found one. I haven't uploaded this video yet. I've still got to edit it, but I did a thrifted book haul Tuesday, and I found a book, one of the Harlequin romance books. It's it's Mill and Boom, which is Australian's section of Harlequin, if you will. And it's called The Innocence Shock Pregnancy by Carol Marinelli. She's an Australian author. It's a very short book. I think it's like 190 pages. So I added that in for prompt 10 and took out the other book because I didn't want to double it up. So I've changed that. So far, I've only actually completed one book this February. Actually 2 books, sorry. I completed one that I picked with this book bingo, and then the other one was Illuminate, which was my free read from last month. So if you're new to my channel, what I do is I have 16 prompts each month, and then I have a book to go with the prompt, and then I have a free read because I'm a mood reader, and I find that sometimes if I feel like I'm hemmed into just a certain amount of books, I get like really not lazy, but like I go into like a book slump and I just don't want to read. So I have allowed myself one free read, and then if I don't finish, like, say if I start a book in, say, February and I don't finish it by the end of February, then that book becomes my free read for the next month. That's what I'm doing. So Vita Nostra and Illuminate were both of those, and I finished Illuminate. I have not finished Vita Nostra yet, so 49 pages to go on that. I feel like it's going to take me forever to read this book because I'm just not gelling with this book. I don't know, you guys. I still feel like it's not going to be rated very high once I finish it, but we'll see. So I have plans for today. So let me see. I'm just looking at my prompts here. So prompt 1 is set on Valentine's. So I picked Murder on Valentine's Day. It's a cozy mystery. It's 40 something pages long, I believe. 48 pages, so I'm actually going to read that today and finish it. I think that's cute. I read the first book in the series last month, so this is the second book, and I got it on Kindle Unlimited. I'll put the cover up on the screen here somewhere. But I got that on Kindle Unlimited, and I do subscribe to Kindle Unlimited because I actually have fallen in love with ebooks, and there's such a vast amount of ebooks on there. Sorry if my camera is shaking a little bit. It's sitting on the tripod on my bed. So that's that. And then I had set myself goals for the day, like my reading goals, which was supposed to be, well, it still is. So my goal for today is to read a minimum of 100 pages. So I want to read Murder on Valentine's, which is 48 pages, and then I want to read Rainy Day Kisses, which is this one, which is 52 pages. So I really want to get those two kind of, like the Murder on Valentine's Day read and finished today, and I really want to get further into this because I'm only 50 pages in. I'm loving the story so far. It is so cute, super romantic, and I love it. And I was actually really surprised to find out that this is not recently written. It was actually written in 1990. I don't know why I didn't see that. I probably did, and I probably even mentioned it in an earlier video, but it just didn't sink in. But I don't know, I just honestly thought it was a more modern book, but it's not. It was written in 1990. So that was the year before, no, the year after I was born. I was born in 89, so this book is like, well, the story is basically 30 years old, you guys. I was shocked. And then there is actually a second story in this book called Wanted Perfect Partner by Debbie May Comer as well. And it is written in 1995, you guys. 1995. But to be honest with you, I've actually read, shoot, what's it called? I could be wrong here. I think the series is called Alaskan Sons. It's about 3 brothers that live in this little town in Alaska. It's pretty remote. You have to, like, the only way to get there is by plane. And during the winter time, it's a lot harder because it's, well, pretty much frozen. And I read that. I read the whole book, like the first and second book, and I read it, and it was amazing. I was able to connect with it, like, really well. And then after I finished reading it, I was doing a bit of research on the series to see what books come next so I could get them. I was like, oh, this was written in 1995. I had no idea. Like, it honestly read like a modern book. So Debbie May Comer's books stand the test of time, you guys. They really, really do. So yeah, so I want to read that. And then if I do actually complete my goal of 100 pages, I will try my best to read some of this book. You guys, I don't even know. I don't know. I'm struggling. I'm really struggling with this book, you guys. And then, like, I want to show you something. So I have here at the front a review in pixels. So it's like the year. So I have the month at the top, and then I have the days down the side. And then each day I color in a block. Now, most of it's obviously light blue, and light blue means that I haven't actually completed any books that day. And then if I complete a book, and this probably won't work for all people because I know, for instance, like Sarah from Steeped in Books, she can complete several books in a day, so this wouldn't work for her. But for me, I never complete more than 1 book in a day. So what I do is that when I complete a book, I have a color code system on the side here that matches the rating I've given the book. So for instance, January I finished 3 books. 2 books were 5 stars, 1 book was a 4-star. So far in February I finished 2 books, both of them for me were 5 stars. Now, I'm also not a critical or a harsh rater. If I like a book, I like a book. It's 5 stars. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing. And then what I'm actually going to do, and I haven't gotten around to it yet because I need to buy the stuff for it, but I want to wait until after my fiance's birthday because I have spent a little bit of money for his birthday. I'm going to buy the supplies, and I'm actually going to make a book blanket. And this is not a project that's going to be completed this year. It's not. It's going to take several years to complete. I know that sounds crazy, but basically what the concept is for every book I finish, I am going to crochet a granny square. And I have written out how I want to do this. So basically, this is my list. So I'm not going to be crocheting a granny square based on the rating. I'm going to be crocheting it based on my genres, if you will. So I've got cozy mystery reads because I do read quite a few of those. So that's probably going to be like a blue color. I've got romance, and romance is going to be like a reddy burgundy color. I've got middle grade / kids. That is going to be like a dark pink. I've got chicklet. I know not everybody likes that name for it, but it's a general term for a lot of books, and I was just going for a general term. That one is going to be like a purpley violet sort of color. Classics is going to be probably like a grey color. Supernatural is going to be like a silver, and then historical, folklore, and real life are all together as one, and that is going to be kind of like a emerald sort of green color. And so what I'm going to do is every time I finish a book, like let's say for instance I finished this book. Now this is a romance book, so I would crochet a like reddy wine sorted colored square. And then let's say, okay, let's pretend like this is a cozy mystery and a romance. So instead of doing a granny square one color, I would do it two. So I would do it like a bluey color and a reddy wine sort of color. And then like, so each square will represent a book. And then eventually it will make a blanket. And so that's what I'm actually going to do. I'm really excited about that. So yeah. So that's what I'm going to do. I just haven't got to it yet, and it doesn't matter like when I start it because let's be real here, it's going to take forever to complete. So that's kind of everything at the moment. I do want to read more books this month. So I still do have a decent amount of time left to get through some books. So if I can complete Murder on Valentine's Day today, I want to complete Rainy Day Kisses. I want to complete Vita Nostra. I also want to read Wanted Perfect Partner. I want to complete The Medicine Man. And hopefully, if I can, The Innocence Shock Pregnancy by Carol Marinelli. I don't ever expect to read 16 books in a month. That's just not me. I don't read that fast. And so I don't expect to read that many, but I like to have a full list. And then whatever I don't read, I can add into prompts in other months. So yeah, so that's that. This is how my reading pages read is going. I think I'm doing pretty well so far. There's only 2 days that I haven't actually read anything, which was the 3rd and then yesterday the 13th. So yeah, so I'm going to do that. I'm also going to do some knitting today because, as you guys probably know, I had to restart my sock. Yes, I know. I had to restart it. I was not happy, but whatever. It is what it is. I messed something up. I don't know what I did. couldn't fix it, so I just ripped it out and started again. So anyway, guys, that is kind of everything for now. I will update you again later, either this afternoon or tonight. It is not raining anymore. I'm sad. I mean, it's been raining for like 2 weeks now, but I'm sad. I love the rain. Rain just makes me happy, and sun does not. Guys, today is the 16th of February, and it is, let me just check the time. It's 3:30 in the afternoon. I finished work at 1, but they have, I don't know what they're doing actually, to be honest with you, but pretty much most of the train lines are down this weekend. So they've got rail buses, and those things are never on time. So you literally just stand around waiting for one to turn up. So I got home at 2:30, and then my fiance was home on lunch, so I sat with him while he had lunch, and then I got in my pajamas. It's super hot today as well. The rain now has disappeared here in Brisbane, which I'm sad about. I really love the rain, but it's gone now, and it's 32 degrees, and it's like 61% humidity. I'm looking at the weather app on my phone. So yeah. So I didn't end up updating on Friday, and then my battery went flat on Saturday, so I'm re-filming my little update of my reading. So Friday I'm just looking in my bullet journal here for my reading. I actually started and finished Murder on Valentine's Day by Pete Credon. It is the second in the series, and it is a cozy mystery series. Now, this is a very, very short book. It's only 48 pages long, so I read it in one sitting. It's super cute, though. It's basically about a girl named Emma. She's 20 years old, and her father is the sheriff, and her crush is, I think his name is Colby, if I remember correctly. He works in the K9 unit in the sheriff's department, and she has a crush on him, basically. And it's Valentine's Day, and she gets all dressed up because she's hoping that she's too scared to say anything to Colby about liking him. So she's hoping that if she gets dressed up, he'll notice and then want to go have dinner with her. And then, of course, in that time, she gets a phone call because she does work for a vet, and the vet tells her that she needs to go pick up this cat from this rich lady's house because there has been some sort of incident, and they need to care for the cat while the incident gets sorted. When she turns up there, it turns out that the lady is dead, and they first believe it is a murder. Now, I'm not giving any spoilers. This is literally all in the description, and it's also 48 pages long. You know from the very beginning everything that's going to happen. And when she gets there, Emma decides that she doesn't think it's a heart attack based on some of the clues that are in this rich lady's house, and she believes that it was murder. And of course, you do pretty much know who the murderer is immediately. Because it is such a short book, they do have to cram a lot in. And of course, they find out who the murderer is pretty fast and solve the crime pretty fast. But I enjoy it. I think they're really super cute books. I have enjoyed the first and the second one, and I think they're adorable. Definitely worth reading if you're into cozy mysteries. I did give that one 4 stars just purely because it is a short story and you do basically know who the murderer is immediately. So there's that. Then I read, I've got my books here. I should have set them with me. I read more of Rainy Day Kisses by Debbie May Comer. I am up to page 104 in the book. There's about 190 pages, I believe. Oh god, I can't stop. Sorry about that, guys. I yawn a lot. I don't think my medication for my thyroid's working. But anyway, got up to page 104 and I'm actually really loving this book so far. It is so adorable. Nate, well, let's first off with Susanna. Susanna is our main character, and she is a businesswoman who has worked really, really hard in her career. She doesn't have a husband, doesn't have kids or anything like that, but her sister does have a husband and a little baby girl, Michelle, and her sister um, basically rings up Susanna and says, my marriage is in trouble. My husband thinks I spend too much time with the child, so I need to go away for the weekend to repair my marriage. And can you look after this baby? Basically. Now, Susanna's not a kid person. She's never, had anything to do with kids, so she is kind of blindsided with the fact that she has to look after this baby and she doesn't know what to do. It's her niece, obviously, as she says yes. And then because the baby is crying so much and she doesn't know what's wrong with the baby, her next door neighbor comes banging on her door to find out what's going on because her building has a no children policy, and obviously there's a child in her house. And then her next door neighbor, she's never met her next door neighbor, but he comes banging on the door to find out what's going on and finds out that she has a child in the house, and he offers to help her because he can see that she is clearly not good with children. And that's kind of how their little romance starts off. Susanna is kind of a little bit uptight, like she has one of those people that have a 5-year plan, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but she has a 5-year plan and she has no room for deviations. And so when she starts developing feelings for her next door neighbor, because they do go on dates and things like that, she doesn't know what to do with it because that's not part of her plan. But it's really cute so far. I haven't finished it yet, but I'm really, really enjoying this book. The next book that I have read some more on is Medicine Man. I'll put the book picture here. Now, Medicine Man is an ebook. I'm reading it on Kindle. It is a part of the, let me bring it up on Kindle. I can never remember the name of the series. I should have prepared this, but guys, I don't prepare anything. Okay. What did I do? Okay, so it's book 1 in the White Sandy series. Now, a friend of mine, she is part Native American, so I do like to ask her things when I am reading stuff about Native American like histories and stuff. I do like to ask her questions because obviously she would know more than I do. And I asked her, because I said to her that she would be interested in this book. I thought she would be, and she definitely is. And I asked her if and I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but the Lakota tribe that's in this book, asked her if it was a real tribe or not, because I honestly don't know. I don't live in America, so this is not something we are taught, but I'm interested in learning. And she said yes. So that was really cool to learn. Now, I am 54% of the way through The Medicine Man, and I'm actually really loving it. So basically, we have Madeline Mitchell. She is a white woman, and she's a doctor, and she promised please correct me if I'm wrong here, tribal government for the reservation that they live on, that she would stay 2 years on the reservation and be the tribe's doctor. And Rebel, I think his name is Rebel Runs Fast, is the medicine man. And at first, both of them clash because they have different ideas of how medicine and patients should work. Obviously, Madeline is a doctor. She's gone to college, university, whatever you want to call it, for this. She's a very good doctor, and she comes from a family of doctors. And so she has very strong views of basically, like, if you're sick, she wants you to take the medicines that will help you get better, type of thing. and she really does want to help people. And Rebel, he is more hesitant to trust Western medicine because of when the government gave Native Americans blankets that were infected with smallpox. I think that's how what happened. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. So he's hesitant to trust Western medicine when it comes to things like vaccines and stuff like that, because there is some sort of flu going around the tribe that's making people sick, and she wants them to get the flu vaccination, and he does not. So he has been advising the tribe's people to go to a sweat lodge and sweat it out, basically. And of course, that makes Madeline mad because you find out in the book that Madeline's mother died from cancer, and so she has a very hard time when people don't listen to the medical advice that she gives them, because she lost her mother, and she felt like that if things had, like, if her mother had listened to doctors and things like that, then maybe she would be here still, or if she had done a better job at looking after her mother, then maybe she'd still be here. So it upsets her when people don't listen to her medical advice, because she does truly want them to get better. And so there is a little bit of like a clashing between Madeline and Rebel because of their differences. And to begin with, Madeline doesn't speak the tribe's language, and there are a fair few tribal members that don't speak English. So she does have to use Rebel and sometimes Clarence, one of the nurses that works in the clinic, to translate for her because she doesn't speak their language. And I think at the beginning, because she is so like independent and just really wants to help people, she comes off as not racist, because she's not racist, but she comes off as a little bit judgmental of the tribe's people. And I don't think she's trying to judge them. I just think that she gets frustrated because she wants to help these people. They're sick. One of them has cancer. And she really wants to help them, but not everybody listens to her. They listen to Rebel, and Rebel tells them to go sweat it out. But as the book goes further on, she starts to learn more about the tribe. She starts to pick up little bits and pieces of the language, and she starts to gain the tribe's trust because she is really trying to help them. She spends thousands and thousands of dollars buying supplies out of her own money to help the tribe with all medical supplies and stuff like that. She even lets her receptionist bring her daughter to work because she doesn't have anywhere else to take her daughter most of the time. And she gives the receptionist's sister, who unfortunately had to drop out of university due to falling pregnant, a temporary job to kind of help her. So she is trying her hardest to let the tribes people know that she is really there to help them, and she is really trying hard to like learn more about the tribe and understand the way they do things. And it's just going to take time, I think, for her, because I think when you are very set in your way of doing things, it's hard when someone else comes along and goes, no, do it this way. And I feel like Madeline and Rebel do kind of rub each other the wrong way sometimes, because they both have their own personal issues. And Rebel, there was a little bit there which in the book that actually made me sad, because Rebel was once married to a different white woman, and this white woman was she come from a wealthy family, and she liked the idea of being married to this Indian man who is a famous Native American artist, because he's an artist as well. And when it came time to her meeting his family, because the tribe, a lot of his tribe live in poverty, she basically left him. She was disgusted by it. And because of that, obviously he was hurt. That's his family, that's who he is, that's his tribe. And so I think what happened was he kind of expected all white women or all white people to be that way, and then he starts to realize that Madeline is not like that, and she doesn't care if you're not rich or if you live in poverty. She'll do what she can to help you and make everything like as easy as possible for you, and she doesn't judge you and or anything like that. And there was a bit that kind of made me sad because Rebel kind of kept putting himself down and saying things along the line of like, what, like nobody's gonna love a red, like a, sorry, nobody's gonna love a red-skinned man, or nobody's gonna love a red-skinned man that comes from poverty or that sort of thing. And that kind of made me really sad because he had this really down view on himself and his tribe. And even though he's come far from that point now, he still does have a lot of like self-confidence issues in himself. And I think Madeline's starting to pick up on that. And yeah, so that's kind of where I am at the moment. Like, sorry about that. It's like such a long-winded thing, but like I'm really finding this book super interesting. And I'm loving learning things about this tribe. Like, even if not all of them are real, it's still interesting because like the issues and stuff that the tribes face are definitely a very real situation. And so obviously, because I live in Australia, this is not something I know about. I'm, how was I enjoying? No, enjoying. I am enjoying learning because I really, really want to learn. Because we just don't know about this sort of stuff over here. And I've always been very intrigued by the Native American culture. I think it's a beautiful culture, and I just like there's just not much to know about it. So the fact that there's a book that can, kind of combine that sort of in is really great. So I do so far love the book. I think it's great. I'm not that far. Well, I am actually. I'm just over halfway through, but I'm really, really enjoying it. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. And that's kind of all I've read. I set myself goals for every single day of how many pages I want to read. So today's goal is 50 pages. I know that doesn't seem like much, but 50 pages. So I want to do 15 pages of this. I didn't set myself very many pages for this because this book is just dragging me down. I don't want to DNF it. I know, like, my partner keeps telling me, just stop reading it. If you're not enjoying it, don't read it. But I feel compelled to do it. Like, I feel compelled that I have to read this stupid book. That's mean to me to say stupid book, but I'm just, like, I'm frustrated with it, put it that way. But my goal is to read 15 pages of this tonight, 20 pages of this, and 15 pages of The Medicine Man. So that's what I'm aiming for, and we'll see how it goes. Now, I can read more than that if I want to. Those are just my minimums of, like, I always set myself a minimum goal. So my minimum goal is 50 pages. So that's what I'm going to aim for. My fiance doesn't finish work until 5. So it's like 10 to 4 now. So I've got an hour and 10 minutes to read before he gets home, and then I'm going to start dinner. I did continue on with my sock because I did say that I had issues with the damn sock, and I restarted it, and this is what it looks like. So I think I've changed my mind on how I wanted it. I was going to have pattern in it, and I'm not now. I'm just going to do a plain vanilla sock. I think that will be fine because this is a really lovely, like, bright and vibrant yarn, so I think a plain vanilla sock will be perfectly fine. But yeah, so that's where I am at, and I'm gonna, oh, hiccups, I'm gonna attempt to work some more on that as well. And yeah, that's kind of it. I don't really have much else to say. Oh my god, I can't stop yawning. Actually, no, I lied. So I was on eBay last night, as you do, and I typed in Debbie Maycomer books because, like, I love her books. I want to collect them all. I only have, I think, about maybe 7 or 8 of her books at the moment. And I come across this seller here in Australia, and they have 2 different lots. There's 8 books in each lot, and then in the books, some of the books contain 2 to 3 stories in each book, which is cool. Some of them are not in the most amazing condition, like some of them do have like crinkle covers or tears, but they're not in terrible condition, and some of them are in amazing condition. And for the price, I think it was worth it. So she had, well, I'm assuming it's a she, had the listing at $5 as a starting bid, and then shipping was $15.35 for a 3 kilo satchel, because books weigh. So I didn't mind that, and then the first listing finished today at 10:30, and I started work at 10. So before I started, I put down my bid and just prayed that I got it, and I won it. I won it for $5. Nobody else bid, so I was so happy with that. So I won 8 books, and then the second listing doesn't finish until Tuesday coming up in 2 days time, and there's another 8 books in that listing as well. And there's currently, she's got that start auction at $5. There's no watches or bids on it at the moment, so I'm really hoping that I can get that one as well, and then I will have lots of books, all Debbie Maycomer books to show you. One of them though does have one, maybe 2 of the books is it an anthology when there's like 2 or 3 stories, or is it just considered a binder? I don't know, but there's like 2 or 3 stories in the one book with a couple of different authors. So one author will be Debbie Maycomer, and then there might be 1 or 2 other authors as well that's contributed to the book. But most of the books are all Debbie Maycomer. So yeah, I'm excited. So excited. That's everything. I will probably not update you again today. Like I said, it is Sunday, so I'll probably end the vlog here, and I will probably start again tomorrow. I want to reorganize my bookshelf, so I may film that. I don't know yet. We'll see. I have 2 big ones. They're not IKEA bookshelves, but they're identical to the IKEA belly bookcase. I have 2 of those, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, guys. Anyway, I'm gonna go, and I am going to get some reading done. So I'll see you guys later. Bye. Hey guys, so I just wanted to give a quick wrap up for the end of the vlog. It is actually technically Monday, so it is the 17th of February, but I wasn't gonna film again, but I finished a book last night, so I wanted to wrap up. I look a little bit crazy because I haven't brushed my hair yet. And I'm about to get ready for work, so I just wanted to kind of duck this in so that I could edit it all tonight. So I actually ended up finishing The Medicine Man by Sarah M. Anderson, and you guys, I loved it so much. It was such a great book. Now, it is a romance book, and there is definitely sex scenes in this book. It's not like crazy with the sex, but they're there. But it mostly focuses on the building of like their relationship, and also the community, or like the tribe's community that they live in. And there was, I'm not gonna lie, I had only intended on reading, I don't know, I think it was like 15 or 20 pages last night, and then once I started reading, I couldn't put it down, and I read the rest of the book, and I loved it so much. It's a 5-star read for me. I cried twice towards the end of the book. There is a part in the book where, and this is not a spoiler alert, you do find out that this is going to happen fairly early on in the book, so like right at the beginning actually of the book. But Rebel, his grandfather dies, and it was really, really sad. And I actually did cry because my grandfather passed away in 2018, like September of 2018, and that hit me really hard. So reading that, I actually did cry. And his name was Albert, and he was dying from cancer, and he held on to say goodbye to Madeline and tell Madeline that it was okay, and that he lived a good life, and today was like a good day to die, like his death was a good death. And that really hit me. Not gonna lie, it really did hit me. And then there is another part in the book where I cried again because, like I mentioned earlier in the book, and it also says kind of on the back of the blurb, that there is something that's making the tribe sick, and they suspect that it is the rancher that supplies the tribe their beef, basically. And the people on the tribe, like on the reservation, some of them are practicing Christians, and they were at a church charity function to help raise money to build a new school, and they had a picnic lunch, and they all ate steak that had been supplied by this rancher that lives next door to them, and they all got violently ill. So ill to the point where a 5-year-old girl nearly dies because he had been contaminating the beef that he was supplying the tribe with, because he wants their water rights on their land and they refuse to give it to him. So that was like a whole thing, and that really, really got me, and I cried again in that as well, because attacking a community of people is never okay. Not ever, ever. But when that community of people has babies and children and elderly, and you know, it's so despicable of an act for someone to do that to people. It's just disgusting. It made me so mad that this rancher did this, because they were so, so ill. And the 5-year-old girl, Nellie, she was bleeding internally, and she was vomiting and had severe diarrhea because he had contaminated the beef with a bacteria that was really bad. And this poor little girl nearly died. Like, it was heartbreaking to read. So everyone survives this, I don't know what you want to call it, but everyone does survive. The doctor, Dr. Madeline, she went without sleep for something like 48 hours or whatever, so that she could save these people. Like, she wasn't going to let a single person die from this, and she worked so incredibly hard to make sure that every person survived. Rebel, he helped her as well. Nobody Bodine, which is one of the um, men in the story as well, he also helped. Rebel's brother Jesse helped because little girl was actually his daughter, and his, I don't think they're together, it doesn't say that they are, but the mother of his child and her mother and her sister's little baby also got sick, and it brought like the whole community together as a whole, and it also made the reservation see that Madeline, even though she is a white person and she doesn't come from their culture, really wants to help them, and she can be trusted, and that she would literally do anything to help them. And she spent thousands and thousands of dollars of her own money getting supplies to save these people, and I think that they really realize now that she is there to stay. And she falls in love with Rebel, and Rebel falls in love with her, and I think that it's a really sweet story because it's about two different cultures coming together, and one culture definitely has a reason to not trust the other because the other culture has done so many terrible things to theirs. So it's really nice to see like the two people coming together, and obviously there's always going to be terrible people, unfortunately, that just treat other people like crap, basically. But this book was a wonderful book. I do highly recommend it. Keep in mind there are sex scenes in this book, so there is that. I loved it so much. I got this book from Kindle Unlimited. The second book in the series doesn't follow on from Rebel and Madeline. It actually follows another man from the Indian reservation and another woman, and this woman is a vet, and she brings her veterinary surgery or clinic, whatever you want to call it, I guess, to the reservation. So that is, I think each book focuses on a different Native American man, which is fantastic because there's definitely some characters I really, really want to learn more about. The second book, however, is not on Kindle Unlimited. You do have to pay for that book. I think it's like $5.99 on Kindle. That's $5.99 Australian. So it's probably a lot cheaper if you're in America or Canada or somewhere like that. But yeah, I definitely do recommend this book. I think it's amazing. I think you will love it, and yeah. So anyway, guys, I better get going because I do actually have to get ready for work. I've got to leave in less than an hour. Alright guys, I'll see you later. Bye.